in.
That light skin wiggle.
How basketball saved my life. With your host at the easy button. At Twan the Don. Without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, chat. Life tried to drown me. This hoop is like my life jacket. This ice in my veins is something Titanic. Lockdown defense kept me out that center for detention. Divine intervention passes over to my center. Alleyways of the alley-oops. Some got no looks and passed away when somebody shoots. Back in court duos, but nobody hoops. The wrists follow through, but the cuffs gotta loop. Pick a book or pick that biggie book. It's just you and I, out running suicides. Me, I was out running suicide. Boy, I'm going in, dropping gems that I picked up in these gyms. I can't slack, I've been down and back. I'm just trying to share a few tales from this thing called life. Count my assists, and I swear that basketball really saved my life. Yeah, chat, I swear it saved my life. Let's go.
Welcome to the very first episode of How Basketball Saved My Life. I'm your host, the Easy Button.
And Twan the Don.
And we're going to open up the show, our very first show, with a quick moment of silence for the man, Kobe. All right. You know what? Man, it's been a tough week just trying to take in what happened with the man Kobe, man. You from the West Coast, so how you dealing with it?
Man, it's right now it's just hard to understand. I guess it really hasn't sunk in all the way, especially because the man already retired, so you kind of seen him away from the game. But then when if you're on social media or anything, I'm sure your social media is flooded with it. So
everywhere, man.
It's hard for you not to really have to pay attention to it. So,
bro, like real life, I had to log off of social media as soon as it happened because I was like, okay, this how I found out. You gonna tell me how you found out?
Okay.
I'm coaching my 7th graders, and at halftime, there was a kid on the scores table. The kid at halftime said, "Yo, Kobe Bryant just died in a helicopter crash." I'm like, man, stop playing. So I'm like, and because my kids heard it, so they trying to like, huh? I'm like, hey, come
right off the bat,
focus. He playing. So the other ref was like, what? Hey, Google that, TMZ that. He was like, TMZ that.
Pause.
And so I was like, all right, I got you. So I talked to my team. I sent them out to go shoot. And then I'm like Googling it. And it's on multiple media outlets. I'm like, oh, this is for real. Bro, if my team wasn't up by 15, 20 points, we might have lost that game because I low-key stopped coaching because I'm trying to coach.
Process.
I'm like, this is not happening, bro. It's not happening.
Man, so I was up that morning. I'm actually playing 2K. One of my homies I talk mad cash money with about LeBron and Kobe. He a big LeBron fan. So he sent me a text like, hey, send me the link. Actually, it was a link saying that Kobe had died in a helicopter crash. Well, when I first read it, it was like, oh, that's a hoax. Like, I couldn't believe it at all. It had to be fake. Like, there is no way. So, I went to research and looking it up. I'm seeing this, like my timeline just flood with it. Like, Kobe this, Kobe that, died in a helicopter crash. So, I mean, like, I sat there for a minute like it can't be true. Like when Nipsey died type stuff. Like, it couldn't be true. Had to sit back, because like he said, I'm from the West. It's a long time coming. So, that's all I watched growing up. That was the man to me. That's the reason why I did this hoop thing. So, seeing a man that the man that I watched play basketball, the reason I love basketball so much, my icon of basketball, here he dead,
bro.
It's something different for me.
We've both found out doing something basketball related.
Basketball-ish.
You playing 2K, I'm coaching, and I didn't say this to nobody else, but my team ended up going to the championship game after that, and we lost. And I feel like I was coaching different, bro. Like my day
was somewhere else.
My day was low key ruined.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep my players together because they're playing their rivals. We 1-4 against this team, man. We was 1-3 against the team at the time. Yeah. Now we 1-4. So they're on edge. I'm on edge about something completely different. At the time, I didn't understand it. I was just like, what's going on? So, bro, it We lost that game, and the next day I went to work, bro, and it was just like, it was all rainy outside and gloomy. Just my energy, everything was down. And it was just a weird day.
It's crazy because, like, personally, I don't know this man. Like, I don't know this man personally, but I'm so wrapped up and involved in the game of basketball growing up and stuff, and that's the man I watch. It feels like I did know him at some point, and I mean, the fact that the man gone, man, it just rings different, you know. I feel like I lost like a family member, no cap, because I mean, it's one of my favorite players, Kobe. Green, Jolly, Green, Giant.
Now, I had a love-hate relationship with Kobe.
This guy.
You know what I'm saying? Like no, for real though. Like,
Tracy McGrady / Bron fan.
Tracy McGrady was the reason for the season. You know, like, he the reason I picked up a basketball. And so, you know, they was both coming up at the same time, and they had a lot of battles. They had a lot of battles. So, you know, hey, listen, if it wasn't for injuries on everything, Tracy McGrady would be the one we talking about right now. Health, you know, not for dying or nothing.
Health as well.
Big facts.
Take
but
it any way you want.
Okay, hear me though. Tracy McGrady, Christmas Day, I remember it like it was yesterday, getting the best of Kobe. Getting the best of Kobe. So, you know, I say that to say I hated him because he was just so good and so cocky. Like, let me tell you, I hate Steph Curry. Let me tell you why I hate Steph Curry. Because he'll shoot the three and do that dance. I cannot stand when he do that.
Light-skinned wig.
Hey, bro. And then Kobe would do something, hit a game when he'll pull his jersey back. He'll pull it and he'll do all, bro.
I got him all day.
I couldn't stand any of it. So I think that's why I can't stand Steph. But anyways, I hated him because you deserve to do that. Like, you hit a game winner, like,
and knock it.
But I hated him. But then when he retired, bro, like, I gave him all his props. Like, It was like, I hated you because you was great. Now you out the game. Salute. I respect you. You know, I got to watch that man win, then go through losing without Shaq and win again. How you not respect that?
But I mean, that's a relationship that you're going to have. Well, I mean, in my era growing up, that's a relationship I had with a friend who played on the opposite team, you know. When we playing, bro, we not cool. But, you know, after the fact, I'm going to show you love. But that dog mentality in me, I'm not going to like you until we actually not playing this sport. So I understand where you're coming from with that. So that makes a whole lot of sense.
Oh, man, it's heavy,
but
boy.
But again, like, yeah, it's fresh, you know. So I don't even think it's been a week yet. It'll be a week Sunday. So I mean,
it ain't a week yet.
It's tough. We still trying to process this because, you know, I mean, basketball is what we hear about, what we talking about, and you know, there's a man that in our era who been doing it the longest. On one team, on the Lake Show,
multiple championships,
solidness,
all that. You know, so. You know, we had to start the show off by talking about Kobe, paying our respects, and you know, now we're gonna get into what the show is actually about. You know, so I don't know about you guys, but if it wasn't for basketball, I don't know where I would be right now. Right. You know, so the show is just gonna be about, you know, how basketball saved our lives, what it did for us. You know, it don't save everybody's lives, but if it took you out of something and put you somewhere else, then it did something for you. Big facts. Big major factory, right?
Factation.
So we have plans to get you guys some very special guests. Y'all gotta tune in for that. Stay tuned.
Please stay tuned.
So Twan, man, what did basketball do for you?
Well, okay, so like you told you, I'm from Sacramento, California, and my man here actually is from Orlando, but we here in Oklahoma. And we're here in Oklahoma because of basketball. So, I mean, it's happened that way. But I mean, with me, I mean, I started out playing basketball at a very young age. It caught me at a young age.
What's the young age?
Man, I mean, I might be boosting, but I know for sure I was on the team second, third grade. So
yeah,
I know I was playing before that. So I'm not gonna put an exact number on it, but I know.
Makes sense why you was dogging.
Right. My brother's pops put the ball in my hand, and ever since then I just ran with it. I used to live in a neighborhood called G Parkway. It was in South Sacramento. That's kind of where I started off, and it was a little project neighborhood. So I mean, it was either you was either doing bad stuff, or you was at the park hooping. And I mean, Shit, the hoop courts was crowded, so if you wasn't having game, you was stuck to be in them streets. So I mean, lucky enough as a young kid, I had game. So in G Parkway, I started off with the ball. I used to go to the park. It was a half court, so I didn't even get to work on any full court. And it just started on half court, and then from there it just blossomed, you know. So after that, I just took it more serious instead of being in these streets trying to hang with some of the homies that I had doing negative things, doing things that probably wouldn't help me, probably could have ended me up in jail. I'd be at the court all day long, working on a jump shot, working on some layups, just working on stuff, and it did good for me. As I grew, I became a good player, and then after that, I mean, just worked out for me. So that's kind of how I kind of picked up the ball. What about you, Easy?
Boy, you started mad early.
I did.
So we gonna get into, maybe not this episode, but we gonna get into starting young versus starting late, because I'm very interested in what your thoughts are about, you know, starting young versus starting late. And, you know, I'm very interested in what do you guys think about, you know, starting young and starting late and whatever stories y'all got. So stay tuned for that. But I started in the summer of 8th grade.
Right.
So, you know, here I am. Listen, I was a soccer player. You know, I was kicking the rocks.
That Haitian.
I was, okay, Port-au-Prince, Haiti, born and raised till I was 8, you know what I'm saying? Then I moved to Florida and moved here. Soccer wasn't as popular, but I was still kicking the rock. And eventually, you know, I get to middle school, I start growing a little bit, then boom, you know, I don't even remember how tall I got in 8th grade, but I was tall enough where they was like, you don't hoop? Like, you
don't want to be asked that question.
Anybody who is 6'3" and above that don't play basketball,
I know you get that
hates
question.
the basketball question. You don't play the basketball. Oh, you a waste of height.
Right. I wish I had that height.
Listen, I started getting that in middle school, so maybe I was 6 foot. I don't know, 5'11". That's still tall for a middle schooler. And they looking at me like, you don't hoop? And I remember, you know, I started dabbling 8th grade year, and in that summer, I took it serious. And then, you know, freshman year, I tried out, and they had the audacity not to pick me for the team. And, you know, they had the audacity not to pick me for the team, and I had the audacity to think I deserved to be on the team, and I went to work on my game, bro. And I did not make a team since. From 10th grade, you know, I was about 14 to the age of 25, you know, about 11 years later, bro. When I was in Puerto Rico and I got cut in training camp, that's the last time I got cut for a team, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of the snippet of my basketball story, but like for real, I was hanging out with Hispanics and, you know, they loved me, I loved them, but I told y'all, like, I'm Haitian, so I didn't know where I was belong. At the time, you got to think, my English good now. You know what I'm saying? But like, you got to think, I'm learning how to speak English. You know, like I got an accent. So my African Americans knew I ain't belong with them.
Right.
Caucasians knew I ain't belong with them. And anybody who knows anything about Florida knows Haitians and African Americans ain't get along. It just so happened that, you know, me and the Hispanics, we were like that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I had friends in middle school, tatted, you know, they was super blasted, bro, goals in their mouth, earrings in middle school, like, it's just things that weren't normal, you know, in other schools, you know what I'm saying, like, my friends barely came to school, always getting in fights, and, you know, they were genuine to me, I was genuine to them, but once I picked up that basketball, it was just like a natural separation where, you know, they didn't wean me out. I didn't wean them out. Right. It was just like, you know what? If I wanted to become good, I was going to go put more time into my game. And that naturally pushed me from that crowd to a different crowd. And it was like basketball. It was like, here, you don't belong there. You belong here.
Right.
And so, you know, shout out to basketball, man, in real life.
Yeah, mine, I mean, with me, since I started at such a young age, I obviously had a lot of kind of athletic friends from the get-go. I also played football, too. So,
And we're gonna get into that right there.
Yeah, so I mean, I played a lot of sports coming up. So like a lot of my friends obviously was sports oriented. Now, don't get me wrong, I had some friends that was dabbling in other things, but it's like I didn't get to spend that much time with them because I was working on my craft. I did enjoy sports. I enjoyed the rush that I got from it. The looks that I got from it. So I mean, when I was growing up,
you said the looks. What
looks.
type of looks?
Hey, lady. But nah, hey.
No, you did those looks. Oh, okay. Carry on.
At the time, though, but no, it was just. I mean, the friends I had, kind of, if it wasn't sports oriented, I grew up. I kind of wasn't really rocking with too much extra because I did do the sports thing. But I mean, as I did get older, the popularity line kind of got a little bit bigger for me. So, I did start hanging out with different crowds and I did start doing more things with all kinds of different people. Some of my buddies that I played football with or basketball with, you got that cousin who ain't athletic, but, you close with and you still hang out with a lot. Y'all might have two different lifestyles, so things happen. But, so, like, I mean, I got into a lot of things,
Speaking
man.
of things happening.
I'm getting into that right now.
you gotta tell the people. We gotta come with it. This first episode.
What I've been through. So, I'm in high school at this point.
You almost had not just basketball taken from you,
life. So, like, I started, so about 17 years old, everything started rocking for me pretty well. About 17 when you're trying to find out what you're going to do with your life, if you even going to go to college or if you're going to play sports past high school, where you going to go type stuff. I was a junior in high school. Well, actually, it was that summer going into senior year, so technically a junior, but going into senior year. That's when things just kind of started being, I was coming into myself, starting to figure out who I was, and just hanging out with some of my boys that I grew up with, and, we like to party, we like to go out. So, like, one night, we all went out somewhere, told my mother I was going somewhere else, and ended up going to a different place. You know how
kids
we used to do as kids.
Take notes.
Hey, pay attention. But... So we go to a little block, a neighborhood. The neighborhood you're not supposed to be on. You already hear all that stuff about them. All bad things happen. So, I'm being an honorary kid that I am at the time. A couple buddies, like, we going to a party on Rennick Block. Shout out to North Highlands, you feel me? And, it was a little jumping party. At the time, it was garage parties when I was growing up, you feel me? We didn't need the house. We in the garage with a little boom box, maybe a big speaker or something. But, we was in there for
barely any lights.
So, like, one day, it was a nice party, I'm not gonna lie. It was a nice little night out. Started out good. And then, all this happened over a hat. It's crazy how little things can escalate and be so massive. So, like, one of my buddies had on this hat that these group of people, I guess, wasn't really intrigued with. Kind of started an argument over a hat, and it escalated from an argument to a couple guys just shooting at random people at a party. They had no target, no ammo. I just felt like they were doing it for stripes and stuff like that. Well, in the midst of it, they shooting at people. They ended up shooting 3 people that night. I'm one of them that got shot, got hit in the back. Crazy. I didn't even notice I got hit in the back at first. Like, I realized, but when you get hit with that heat, when you get hit with that heat, you really don't realize it because of that adrenaline rushing. But after I got hit and everything, I had to get surgery. Was cut up that year.
How did it feel? How did it feel
when I got hit?
Yeah, when it went through you, like, what it felt like?
Oh man. So granted, this is about about 13 years ago.
Oh my goodness, you old.
Wait. But man, it felt like you just think of the hottest thing you've ever touched in your life hitting you in the back and just sitting on your back for a minute. That's what it felt like. It felt like I had like someone drop a hot rock on my back.
Cold,
just
like
melting.
Cartoons.
Yes, man, melting. Hey, no cap, felt like that. And so I mean, obviously it caught me off guard at the time, but I mean it happened. So, I mean, after I got the surgery and everything, recovery time took about 3 months, which is crazy because I also had an Achilles tear in my career of this basketball life, and that took me a whole year to get back from. But this gunshot wound only took me 3 months. Granted, I was young.
So how did you come back from it the same player? Did you come back from it a lesser player? Like,
I came back better, and the weird reason why is because I got in the gym before I was supposed to. So, I mean, you can ask some of my buddies back home. We used to be in the gym, in Laura's gym.
Why do hoopers do that though? Like we never sit out the whole injury, bro.
You can't, bro. You itching. You itching for it.
It's probably why I'm limping around.
But I was in the gym moving slow. I'm talking about slow as molasses, and I mean I don't know if that worked into maybe my game getting better as my body speeded up or anything, but like when I was at full recovery, my game changed.
Going slower, you fine tuned your game.
Yes, I felt like that.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, I can't really tell you what it was, but once I fully got recovered and everything, my senior year of basketball was actually a breakout year for me.
So what did you average before, and what did you average senior year?
Well, junior year I averaged only like 17 points a game. Only 17 points a game. And then senior year boosted up to about 29, almost 30 points a game. I just was going at it. Yeah, I was going at it then. I mean, I don't know. Just when basketball season came around, my body felt good and I was playing. In the midst of that, I didn't get to play football, so, football didn't go as planned because I really was going to go to school for football. But when all that happened, I obviously had to change my plans because everything doesn't work out that way.
So then, like, you said you was going to go to school for football. What happened with that? Did you, like, lose a scholarship?
Right. I mean, the school I was talking to, I didn't play that year, so they just kind of lost interest in me. And everything just doesn't work out, how it's supposed to. But, I mean, then again, on the flip side, it do. Because, for basketball, I mean, it was a spectacular year for me. And got me to do some things that I'm doing and got me where I'm at now, man. Some good people through basketball. And, I mean, that's kind of how this basketball life works, man. It's crazy how it works.
Man, obviously, I done heard the story before. But I can't even wrap my head around.
Yeah, man.
I can't even wrap my head around what it's like. I'm just glad you made it through that, man. So, with that being said, let's get into some shout outs. Because you talked about, going from 17 to 30. Anybody who knows basketball knows it's really hard to average 30. I mean, I've had times where I was on my way to 30. And I gassed out, like not for like an average, just in a single game.
Right.
And I gassed out.
Right.
It's, start passing or shout out to Kobe, or don't have that Mamba mentality, to keep going even though you up, going to double figures like, oh, I'm up, I can relax now. Like,
well, I mean, I'm going to say this. I feel like I got that mentality part of me from the Mamba. I mean, I like to score. I'm going to tell you this honestly. I mean, I got the name ball hog a lot in high school and stuff like that. But
hogging that rock.
The name of the game was put the ball in the bucket. And if you wasn't putting the ball in the bucket, you wasn't playing basketball. So, I mean, I love putting the ball in the bucket. That's really what it was. I had that grit. Like, I'm going to go get it. And then senior year, junior year, but senior year, my jumper really came into me. So when my jumper really came in, I kind of just could spread the court a little bit. People knew I can get to the rim, but when that jumper started flowing, it's like, how do you guard this man? But I just really had a cutthroat attitude. A couple coaches instilled it in me, and that's just kind of how it went. I mean, I just felt like I couldn't be stopped senior year, and so I just rolled.
Who we shouting out? Who we shouting out?
So I mean, I gotta shout out to Mamba. You feel me? Because he the reason why I came in with that grit. The Mamba face. The Mamba face. If you're a Mamba fan, you feel me? But now, on a real case, I'm gonna shout out my sophomore year coach, Coach Oviedo. He kind of was the one that kind of molded me into to understand my grit mindset. I would say I know I had that mindset, but he helped bring it out of me.
So you weren't aggressive before.
I mean, I was aggressive, just not to my max potential, I would say. I mean, I was aggressive to the point where, I mean, I could score. You knew I had game. You knew I would go. But, like, to go to a point where it was, like, nonstop, go get it.
Coach Oviedo, aggression.
Yeah, Coach Oviedo kind of brought that out of me. He instilled that in me. He boosted me a lot. I ain't going to lie. Because, something, I ain't going to lie. I'll go out there sometimes thinking I could do extra. It ain't always work out, but he boosted me to put me in that position to feel I can go do certain things.
So, coaches, I know you're hearing this. Okay, give your players confidence. I mean,
got to.
He said he boosted them. He can think about it now, but before he didn't think he was getting boosted. He was just like, "Oh, this coach believes in me."
Just maintain him on the team,
and he just kept giving him confidence until he took a major leap, like 17 to 30, bro. That's a major leap. So, shout out to Coach Oviedo, man.
Yeah.
You got anybody else?
I mean,
don't give them all of them, but
all of them.
Just one more person.
I'm actually have to go with one of my AAU coaches, Coach Dwayne. He was a different kind of breed of coach. He was younger. At the time, he was still hooping, trying to do his little overseas career. And I felt like he was more kind of my style of play, is what I would say. He was just a younger coach, and
he was a player's coach.
Player's coach, and I loved him for that because, you know, like as a player's coach, he instilled a lot of stuff in me that I knew he went through himself. So when he would tell me, I instantly believed him and instantly went and tried it because I seen him play himself, and since I seen he was a go-getter,
instantly believed him.
So I mean, I'd like to shout out Coach Dwayne, man. It's been a minute, bro. I ain't seen you in a minute. I hope you're doing well, but. Yeah, he was good, man. He had us at a young age. I'm talking, he had me and my boys at like maybe freshman, sophomore year. We go on trips and stuff, and we playing AAU ball. And he just was a young coach that liked to see people go get it, and he liked finesse style too. So that's kind of where I got my swagger on the court from with this guy because he would let us go do our thing out there in AAU ball. So. Coach Dwayne, I appreciate that. But what about you, E, man? You know, I shout out my two first. I need you to shout out too. Who you got?
All right. Well, shout out Coach Dwayne, man.
Hey,
players coach. Sound like, he sound like my type of coach because I'm a players coach.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to tell my players all the time, like, why you ain't do this and do that? And they know I know what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
They know I know what I'm saying because I done jumped in a couple practices on purpose.
It's a show.
You know, I done some dunks and I done did the dribbling drills with them and you know, I done some shooting drills with them, so they know what time it is. So, shout out to Coach Dwayne, man. But, you know, I'm going to have to shout out to Coach Perez, man. Coach Perez, you the realest, man. When I go back to Florida, I gotta link up with you. Coach Perez was a military man. He didn't have a basketball background, but he retired from the military, and he just loved kids, man. He just wanted to give back to inner city kids. And at the time, it couldn't have been any more perfect. You know, I didn't have a dad. My dad got murdered when I was like 14. And so, you know, my dad got murdered when I was 14. And so, you know, around that time, I'm still figuring out, you know, what I should do with basketball. This is after I didn't make freshman year.
What age was you at, man?
So I didn't make freshman year, and then this was after sophomore year. So this was after sophomore year. Had to be, I was like 14 because I graduated early. So I graduated.
Around the age, what time did your pops die?
I was 14. I was 13
so
actually.
Happened around the same time.
Yeah, it was like right, like he came at the right time because my dad died, and then my older brother went to the military right after that. So you know my brother's still alive, but it was like losing two people at the same time.
Right.
And then here come Coach Perez. And my time frame may be a little bit off because this is a long time ago.
It is.
You know, 05, 06.
Wow.
Talking about it because I feel so old. And
no, never think we'd reach this age.
Hey, no disrespect to the more seasoned.
Old heads.
See, I'm trying to be respectful. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to say the seasoned, and you talking about old heads.
But anyway, Bill on this show.
Hey, we're going to keep it 100. But so he comes in, and he instantly saw right through me, man. And he took me in. He put his arms around me. I remember going over his house having dinner. This is like non-basketball related, bro.
That's what's up.
You know, taking me home, picking me up. You know, this is for summer ball. So then, you know, I go on to, I'm trying to remember how the story goes. Anyway, so Coach Perez he just was that dude, man. He came into my life and he was just real. He was so real. We got so connected that we bump heads sometimes. You know, but that's how I go. Cause he became more like a father figure. I can call him up right now to this day and it would be like, you know, we haven't spoken, you know.
Love.
So shout out Coach Perez, man.
Shout out Coach Perez.
You know, he was defensive minded, but he gave me one of the things that I loved him for on basketball, you know, kind of like Coach Oviedo. He didn't say, hey, go do this, go do that, but he gave me the leash and didn't tell me. It was like the opposite of you, right? He didn't say, hey, go do this, go get buckets, you know, go get busy. He just would keep me in the game after I messed up. So I'm looking at him like,
let you get comfortable.
Oh, I just airballed this 3. You're not gonna pull me? I just missed this layup. You're not going, okay.
Let me get comfortable with
You know,
the game.
so, you know, I got to the point where now I'm missing dunks, but he's letting me go miss dunks. He's letting me go do I'm sure he didn't like me missing dunks, but he let me go do these things till the point where, you know, I started catching bodies, started dunking on cats. Right. And so he just gave me the leash, man, and so I'm super appreciative. He built it. He built it. He let me explore my game. So shout out Coach Perez.
Shout out Coach Perez.
You know, coaches, if you're listening, man, I know it's harder to do in college or even, you know, top varsity. It's harder to do. But if you got, you know, a younger team especially, let these players develop. Give them some confidence. Give them some leash. Tell them, hey, you know, it's okay to make mistakes. I try to give my players at least 3 mistakes. Now, if we done talked about it 100 times, it's different, right? But I try to give them some leash to make some mistakes before I pull them out.
Let me throw something at you.
Talk to me.
You said you started about 13, 14 playing this game, right?
Summer of 8th grade, more like 12, 13.
12, 13. Well, I say this. I may think maybe Perez maybe knew that you was just starting to blossom into this game, so he gave you that leash to let you get that confidence to really expose who you was on that court.
Because he saw it.
Maybe he seen the raw talent, so he was like, I'm going to let this man do his thing on this court to get that comfortability to really know who he is on this court.
I can feel that. Because, I mean, there are players that you're looking at him and you're like, man, if he has somebody with him.
Raw talent.
If he has somebody with him, he'll be cold.
Yeah, we see that every day. We be in the gym, even if we in the gym watching the team, you saw
every day.
Maybe that's what it was. That's why he probably showed you that love, and it's still got that in you, man.
No lie, it's adults, and I'm like, man, it's some adults, bro. I'm like, how this dude still getting good as an adult? Boy, if you started young, you would have been the roof.
Gary Branch.
Oh, we had to call up the man. Call the man. Shout out Gary.
He'll tell you himself, though. He did his thing now.
Shout out to you, boy. Shout out to you. So, yeah, man. So, yeah, it's quite possible, you know. But, you know, basketball can be so political sometimes. And, you know, you're talking about a dude who, you know, retired military, didn't take no crap. He didn't care about politics. You know what I'm saying? So, I think that's what I appreciate about him the most is the fact that he was just genuine. He was genuine as a coach, as a person. So shout out to you. My second person, man, I want to shout out Coach Wayne. So after I played for Coach Perez over the summer, you know, then I transferred. He ain't doing nothing legal. You know, I transferred from my other school and transferred to Coach Perez school because my freshman year, you know, the school I went to was a 9th grade campus, you know, and so 9th grade campuses, you know, aren't a thing everywhere else, but to us, you know, it didn't register like, oh, you know, most schools go 9 through 12.
Right.
You know, but Evans High School was a school that it was so, I just want to say it was just so bad, you know what I'm saying? Like it was so bad. Test scores were low, you know, fights happening left and right. You know, it got to a point where, if I remember correctly, either the district or the state granted students from that school transfers to other schools, you know, like surrounding the district. So I ended up going to Apopka High School from Evans High School. Okay. And then, you know, that was like a 30-minute bus on a 30-minute ride on a bus, hour and a half on a city bus, you know, like at least, it was like 45 on the bus, you know, 30 by car, hour and a half on a city bus.
My man commuting in high school.
I'm commuting in high school, and it wasn't a thing, bro. I didn't think about it. It was just like, I'm going to go to the school. I made the team, you know, basketball practice 6 to 8. So I'm staying at a teammate house from whenever we got out, I don't remember, 2:30, whatever it was then, to practice. Then ain't nobody coming to pick me up. Yeah. A single mom, brother in the military.
Understood.
So what I'm going to do?
Yeah, gotta make it happen.
After practice, I jump on the city bus. You know, practice, and at 8, I immediately jump on the city bus like 8:05, 8:08. I'm not in the house till like 9:30, 9:45 because I got to catch 2 buses to the house.
It was long days, man.
Then I get off the bus, and I got to walk another 15 minutes. I actually fell asleep one night on the city bus.
Fell asleep. Stop?
Bro, woke up at the city bus
hug.
I woke up at the station, bro.
What?
I woke up at the station. This before
He ain't wake you up beforehand?
I'm in the back, ducked off,
laid
sleep.
down.
I'm probably stretched out, bro, because buses stopped running at, whatever time it stopped running. So I was the last person on the bus, bro. So I get off the bus at the stop, no cell phone, right? So then I'm walking. My aunt didn't stay too far, but it was still a walk.
Right.
So I'm walking. I get to a payphone. This when dudes is on. Come on. This when dudes is on. It was on payphones. I called my aunt. She come get me from the stop, bro. She comes get me from the bus, from the payphone. She feeds me, drops me off. I get to the house. Probably that week. I can't really remember. I go to Walmart. I get a little track phone. So I get a little track phone. Bro, at the time,
minutes loading up.
it was $100 for 100 minutes.
Hey.
Listen, bro, and I'm not texting because texting was like 50 cents a text or something crazy. I can't remember.
See, I don't know nothing about that no more.
Listen, I'm educating y'all kids right now. Millennials, is that what they call them? Man, I'm old because I'm saying millennials.
Right.
So, bro, so then look, I get this phone and I get it. Only for when I fall asleep on a bus. In my mind, I'm only using this for when I fall asleep on a bus.
Bet you never fell asleep
I
on
never,
a bus
ever
again.
fell asleep. But in my mind, if I fall asleep on a bus, somebody come to get me, right? So I get this phone. And so anyways, I had to tie that in so I could tell you why I went to Coach Perez school the following year. Okay. Coach Perez school was in Orlando. It was not in the city of Apopka. 10, 15-minute ride to school. So it was just the right idea. It was just what I had to do. Okay. Boom. Coach Wayne. So now I'm playing for Coach Wayne because we trying to stay legal. We're not trying to have all the players on the team, on the high school team, playing AAU for Coach Perez. So Coach Wayne started coaching the team. Coach Wayne was like 6'6", bro. You know what I'm saying? Smooth jumper, smooth voice. He probably was a singer back in this day. Listen, he probably was a player. All types of players, man. So Coach Wayne, he was the type of dude when he taught players, listen. Right. Whatever he said hit different. You know what I'm saying? Like, he would say something, nobody would dare question what Coach Wayne would say. Not that they question Coach Perez, but Coach Perez ain't hoop. So, it was just a different mentality, different vibe, different understanding. Like, when Coach Dwayne told you something, you was tuned in. You was tuned in, and
must be something about them Waynes.
Listen, what made Coach Wayne? I ain't even put that together. So, what was so special about Coach Wayne was that, I don't even think I told him I ain't had no dad, but the way he helped me through my emotions and my anger, that was probably his biggest impact on me because he'd ask me simple questions like, bro, why are you so mad? Why are you so angry? And it's like when people ask you, are you mad? Are you mad? You get more mad. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, why are you so mad? I used to look at this dude like, bro, who are you talking to? Like, oh, man, I remember like it was yesterday. But, eventually he helped me learn how to play with those emotions and how to use them in the game and go play harder and go dunk. Man, I used to dunk so hard off of aggression, bro. I used to get to the point where, my whole hand would be red after the game. Most of that was layup lines. But I was dunking at least twice in the game. Right. Whether it was a leak out, whatever.
Get it how you get it.
I was getting it though, you know what I'm saying? So Coach Wayne got me to the point where I was able to sit down and lock up because I'm mad, Okay. I got some texts along the way, learning how to use that emotion and, some taunting maybe, some stare downs,
Midst of the game, bro, it happens.
Bro, so Coach Wayne, man, he helped me get through all that, man. So shout out Coach Perez.
Shout out to you, Coach Perez. And
shout out Coach Wayne. Man. So, I say all that to say, coaches, listen, this is important. You're going to have players, you don't know what they're going through. You don't know what's happening in their lives. You can't be so quick to move on from players. Can you imagine if somebody was so quick to move on from Michael Jordan, who didn't make his whatever team,
right?
We hear the stories, oh, he didn't make the team, we ain't gonna look at him again, or whatever the case is. Yeah. it's them cats like they be they're good basketball players. Like, how he not on the team? Imagine if Michael Jordan was one of those guys.
True.
It's just one of those things. Like, coaches cannot give up on players because you don't know what they're battling through. And Coach Wayne helped me through mine, bro.
That's what's up. Yeah, I ain't had to run into that until about JUCO year, because I did do JUCO year first, and I did have a school kind of give up on me because just certain situations that probably may have happened in high school. But you know what happened when I played against that school?
What'd you do to them?
I showed them why they missed out on me.
Turned
up.
up.
Yeah, man. That's what's up, man. So, question. Wayne, you said so he was a player's coach, right? So you vibed with whatever he said to you, right? Like when he put it into you, did you feel like very much
ears wiggled when he was talking. But
so like, how do you feel about, as you growing up, would you have rather have that player's coach or just that coach that knew about the game and was like just very, obviously did a lot of research to know his part of the game, but like, what did you feel more comfortable playing for?
That's a tough question, because I think playing for a player's coach, the game plans are different.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They understand matchups maybe a little bit different. It's not nothing against another coach who maybe has less basketball experience, but they might be better at X's and O's if they've never played basketball, and they see things from different perspective. But me being a player's coach, I think I would have much rather played for a coach who had long basketball experience.
Makes sense.
Just like I'm having, like, when I call timeouts in games, and I'm like, I'm not going to give you the ball no more if you don't go kill him.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not going to give you the ball no more. I'm going to take you out if
right.
you don't have confidence to go. If I call a play for you, you better go score on him.
Right.
Go get it. Like, okay. And these are the conversations I'm having with my kids. And if I see like they lack that confidence to do what I'm telling them, oh, he not ready. Hey, go get him. Right. He not ready. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to put somebody in the game who's going to exploit the matchup. So, that's a tough question though, boy.
It is. And to answer it on my end, it could go both ways. I just, I watched the game a long time, and I'm watching some player coaches who are maybe in the league or maybe at a college level, maybe even a high school level. And then a little bit of coaching I've done or training I've done, I just kind of noticed like how the kids are more, just how they're just intrigued into a player coach. Because, as when I was younger, if I had a coach that played and I felt like they were good, I kind of looked up to them, obviously, because they're helping me in the same sense, but they've done it, so I know what they're helping me with. They've witnessed themselves, so I just kind of watch the body language of kids when they have a player's coach, and kind of how they go after it with a player's coach. I feel like the vibe may be just a tad bit different.
We're gonna have to expand on that on another episode.
We will get into that,
because this one,
it's a long topic. We can go on and on.
This one, especially when we have our next guest on, stay tuned for that.
Please.
We're gonna get into that a little bit more. Players coach. So, man, shout out to you guys for staying tuned in.
Definitely.
If you hung out with us this far, we appreciate you. Thank you for being a part of the very first episode of How Basketball Saved My Life. Thank you for hanging out with us as we drop these gems that we picked up from these gyms.
Please stay tuned. So we got things coming up, and we hope that you guys, rock with us through the wave, because I think we got some stuff that y'all can pick up on.
Comment.
Topics.
Leave us a comment. Tell us how you feel about, Kobe Bryant. The way we're going to get over Kobe Bryant is to, we're not going to ever get over, but the way we're going to cope with it is to get it out,
Right.
At first, I tried to keep it in, you know what I'm saying? And, now that I'm getting it out and talking about it, I feel better about it. So, comment, your favorite Kobe moment, you know what I'm saying? Comment, who do you want to shout out? Shout out to, whoever you want to shout out, who gave you your basketball or football or whatever sport, whoever gave you your first opportunity to really go out and be who you are, So, thanks again, and until next time.